It's not often that I come across a Galaxy M series phone with powerful internals. And it's rarer still to come across one with a 7000 mAh battery inside it. So that makes the Galaxy M51 special in a lot more ways than one. And that makes this review a very interesting one as well. Hey guys, Amar here from C4E Tech, and if you do end up enjoying my review, then please consider subscribing to the channel and hitting that bell icon so that you get notified every time a new video goes live. Okay, so we can't really talk about the Galaxy M51 without touching on its insane battery capacity. So let me get that one out of the way first. To no one's surprise, the Galaxy M51 has incredible battery life. I finished most of my days with about 50% left in the bank. So the 7000 mAh battery should be enough to get through 2 days for most normal users. Even for someone like me, it easily lasted me well into the second day. And trust me guys, I use this phone a lot. That's simply because the AMOLED panel on the M51 is gorgeous to look at, and the Snapdragon 730G keeps the entire UI feeling fast and snappy. But before I get sidetracked, let me complete the battery tale. Now I went in wondering how much time is this massive battery gonna take to charge, and honestly, Samsung managed to pleasantly surprise me once again. Thanks to the 25-watt fast charger, the M51 can be charged from 0 to 100 in less than 2 hours, which, given the battery capacity here, is honestly quite impressive. And the final thing, I also charged one of my colleague's devices with my phone. Yes, his OnePlus 5 was about to die, and I managed to save the day thanks to reverse wired charging on the M51. So yes, the battery life is great, it can charge fairly fast, and when in a pinch, we can even use the M51 as a portable power bank. But we already told you all this during the unboxing, right? So let me change topics and dive into something that I think is the second biggest feature of this device. And yes, I mean big quite literally, since I'm talking about the 6.7-inch Super AMOLED Plus display that we have here. As we have come to expect from Samsung panels, this one too has vivid colors and inky blacks. In fact, this one is actually a higher quality panel than what we generally get with the M series phones. It's brighter, more contrasty, has really thin bezels for that immersive look, and a centered punch hole for that 32 megapixel selfie camera. The best part though is the combination of abundant screen real estate with Dolby Atmos sound, making for an absolute gem of a cinema watching experience. The cherry on top being support for widevine L1, which means everything from Prime Video to Netflix streams in glorious HD quality. Okay, I've been using a lot of superlatives, but I'm sure you guys get the point. This is a really good AMOLED panel, and I thoroughly enjoyed my time with it. My only complaint, I wish it was 90Hz. That's because for the first time, Samsung actually has a chip that could power it smoothly, even at 90Hz. Yep, we have the Snapdragon 730G inside here, and I have to say, the overall user experience here is really good. Now given the price, we do have much better options in other Chinese phones, like the Redmi K20 Pro that comes with a Snapdragon 855 and the Realme X3 Super Zoom or the X3 that comes with the 855 Plus. Even the OnePlus Nord comes with the 5G capable Snapdragon 765G. In comparison, the 730G doesn't score as highly on benchmarks, but thanks to Samsung's optimization with One UI, the experience here is just as smooth. No frames dropped while scrolling through menus or swiping through home screens. When it comes to games, the Adreno 618 GPU can power through most titles. Although at the very highest graphics settings, we do get that occasional stutter or dropped frame. Of course, the 6 gigs of LPDDR4X RAM helps make sure that multitasking is nice and smooth, and we have 128 gigs of storage by default, so installing tons of apps, saving 4K clips, none of that is really gonna be a problem. And in case we do happen to run out of storage, the M51 even comes with a dedicated microSD card slot. Speaking of 4K clips, let me tell you guys about the cameras here. Now Samsung has gone the extra mile, so instead of any run-of-the-mill quad-layer sensor, we get the flagship Sony IMX682. This 64 megapixel sensor is paired with an f1.8 lens, and the results are truly exceptional. Crisp looking photos with great dynamic range and the characteristic vibrant Samsung colors. We get azure blue skies along with lush green fields, and there's plenty of detail. Just take a peek at the treads of the tire here. When it comes to low light photography, Samsung's night mode kicks in, and interestingly enough, instead of a 16 megapixel shot like usual, what we get is a 12 megapixel snap. Samsung has done an amazing job of preserving the details while keeping the noise levels under control. That's because the M51 isn't afraid of stretching the shutter timing to as high as 1/8 of a second. So steady hands are a must while taking low light shots. Coming to the ultra-wide, Samsung has upped their game once more, using a 12 megapixel ultra-wide snapper instead of the regular 8 megapixel flare that we find in their M series. The best part about the snapper is how well the color science matches the primary. Everything from the bright colors to the excellent dynamic range is carried over from the primary snapper, and Samsung has done an incredible job here. Now we tend to discount the macro and depth sensors on most phones since they are 2 megapixel affairs just there to make up the numbers. But that's not the case here. The 5 megapixel depth sensor powers live focus, and it lets us control the amount of bokeh before and even after the shot has been taken. As for the macro camera, it's actually got some good details and nice colors, way better than the blurry mess of pixels that most phones in this price range tend to capture. As for the selfies, the 32 megapixel snapper managed to impress me with some really good looking shots. The skin tones look natural, and zooming in, we can see the details on Ananthan's face. As for the portrait shots, like with the rear, we can also control the amount as well as the style of the bokeh. Which then leads us back to the 4K video capture that started us off on this segue. Well, the M51 is capable of capturing video footage at 4K 30 FPS. And the amazing thing here is just how stable the footage looks. And we can even get more stable footage using the super steady mode. But that does come at the expense of details. So when it comes to optics, the Galaxy M51 can go toe to toe with any phone in the under 30k range. And a big part as to why it can do that is because for the first time, Samsung isn't limiting their mid-range devices via software. We can get access to flagship features like single take that debuted with the S20 series. Not only that, we also get a pretty fleshed out Pro mode in here. The great experience isn't just limited to the camera software. We have One UI 2.1 on the Galaxy M51, and for the most part, I didn't notice any stutters or UI slowdowns. There are some new features here as well. We have music share and quick share options on the M51 along with One UI regulars like dark mode, screen recorder, and always on display. On the security front, we have a side-mounted fingerprint scanner that works really fast. It actually might just be the fastest scanner on a current-gen Samsung device, and that includes the flagships. And backing it up, we also have Face Unlock. Speaking of the side-mounted fingerprint scanner, Samsung has managed to nail the placements here on the M51. Everything is within easy reach, and for a phone that contains a 7000 mAh battery, the M51 isn't that thick or heavy either. In fact, Samsung has used the 9.5mm thickness here to make sure that the camera module sits flush with the back. And at just 213 grams, the M51 feels hefty but not heavy. Now, in order to get there, Samsung did have to make a few choices. The first one was to use their latest generation AMOLED Plus panels that's much thinner than other OLED or LCD solutions. And the second one is to opt for a plastic finish. Okay, Samsung calls it plastic, but end of the day, plastic, whatever it is, it doesn't feel premium, and I wish Samsung would have done something different. Maybe at least a different finish. Like guys, the M51 sports an amazing display, the best battery life possible from a mainstream smartphone, powerful internals, decent cameras, yet the looks is so bland that it might turn a lot of people away. The blue and black color variants look uninspired, the reflective plastic back scratches easily and is a fingerprint magnet, and for a 25,000 rupee phone, it really doesn't make a good first impression. But once I spent some more time with it, used it as a phone, by the way guys, I had no problems with 4G or VO Wi-Fi or any other connection issue really, and that means I had a great time with the Galaxy M51. So in conclusion, should you buy the Galaxy M51? Well, if battery life is your priority, then there's no other phone in the market that can match this one. For everyone else, there are better options out there in this price range, but they're from Chinese companies. So if you're looking for a non-Chinese all-rounder at 25,000 rupees, I'd say go ahead, get the Galaxy M51. It's not just the best M series phone yet, it also might just be the best mid-range or value for money phone that Samsung has ever made. Okay, that's just my opinion. But hey, now I want to know yours. So let me know in the comments below. Also, would you pick up a Galaxy M51 or would you rather go for a Chinese alternative? Something like the Realme or a Redmi or maybe even the OnePlus Nord? Again, let me know in the comments below. And with that, we come to the end of this video. As always, like, share, subscribe, and turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. Thanks a lot for watching till the end, guys. Have a good one. Cheers.